We have made it to the final month of the regular season here in year number 2 with the San Francisco Giants franchise here on MLB The Show 24. All focus is on a potential playoff push. At 69 and 65, we've got to continue to run the table, and it's going to be tough. After this series against Colorado, the schedule gets really brutal. Let's take a look at where we are standings-wise. I think pretty comfortably the Braves, Reds, and Dodgers should win their divisions, but the wild card race in the National League has been super competitive all season. Currently, the Cubs and Brewers are slotted into the first 2 spots, with us tied for the last spot with the Cardinals. The Padres, Phillies, Diamondbacks, and Mets are next up within 5 games. It feels like everybody who's in the wild card hunt, though, is on a losing streak in the NL, which is weird. As for the AL, the American League East stinks, but they're all close together. They're all within 5 games. The Orioles, who are in dead last in the division, are closer to first place than any of the other second-place teams across all of baseball. The AL East, albeit it's been a bad division, but it's the only competitive one with all 5 teams still alive. Last episode, we finally got to look at the ratings and potentials of all of the players we ended up drafting, and I think it's pretty fair to say that we cooked. Tommy Rogers, of course, leads the way, an 81 overall generational prospect, and the rest of the class was really good as well. The other opportunity for us to add prospects into the system is through international free agency, of course, and later in today's episode, we will go over this year's international free agency class. Of course, last year we signed the catcher Vicente Alegre, one of the many talented international free agent players made by you guys to be implemented in the series. If you would like to make an international free agent for next season, then I recommend you join the Discord server. Link is in the description, where you can make a player for any of the 3 series that we currently have here on the channel. But again, that's going to be later in today's episode. Right now, our focus is on the early portion of September, and it's not going to be easy for us because, as I said earlier, we've got a really tough schedule after this series against Colorado. So these next 4 games against the Rockies are going to be especially pivotal for us. Our pitching staff has been banged up through the entire summer, but we should be getting everybody back soon. Kyle Harrison returned off the 60-day. He made his first start back from injury. Robbie Ray's going to join him pretty soon. And Logan Webb, as well, is only going to be out for a couple more weeks. And we're going to have some tough decisions on who we take out of the rotation because we've got 6 or 7 guys who I think are going to be able to pitch for us in the rotation at a high enough level. So let's take a look at this schedule that we've got here after the series against Colorado because, yeah, it gets rough. All the other remaining series are against playoff teams or teams pushing for a playoff spot, such as San Diego, Texas, Seattle, Cincinnati twice, Arizona, the Padres again, and then we wrap up with the Dodgers. Excluding Colorado, all of these teams have a lot to play for. So that means we've got to perform well against the Rockies or else we could be in quite a bit of trouble. We've got to take 3 of 4 at minimum. That needs to be the goal here. We cannot afford to lose multiple games. Robbie Ray has been activated off of the 60-day injured list. He's still going to be hurt for a couple days, but it's nice that he's now on the roster. Keaton Winn will be sent down to AAA. I don't think Winn is going to stay in the minors too long. We're probably going to recall him up soon, but I needed to send somebody down. So the series against Colorado has not gotten off to a very good start. We've lost 2 of the first 3 games. We did get a Kyle Harrison masterclass in this first matchup. He threw 8 innings of 1-run ball, but we didn't get much out of the offense. Our only runs came off of the 3-run shot by Thairo Estrada, and we only scored 1 run in the other 2 games after that. The offense is letting us down at the worst time. We're going to need a spark here, and we could get it with the September call-up stage, bringing 2 additional players to the big league roster. I thought about Keaton Winn, but I want to give Jordan Hicks one more shot. Obviously, this signing has been nothing short of a disaster. Hicks has been horrible 2 years in a row, but he's been pretty good in the minor leagues, and I want to give him one more chance in the bullpen. If things go south, then we may look to get rid of him this offseason. As for the other spot, I wanted to add a bat. It's pretty clear that the offense could use some life, and we're going to bring somebody up who I wasn't planning on having come up this year, but Kyler Rodriguez is going to be a big leaguer. He will be skipping AAA entirely and jumping into the majors. Rodriguez was our first-round pick last year. He has homered more times than any player in all of minor league baseball this year. His walk rate is way higher than I would have expected it, and his contact ability is good enough. Not only will Rodriguez look to light a spark for our offense now, but he's going to look to compete for playing time for next year. With a possible minor league stud of the year nomination looming, I think Rodriguez is going to be good enough to be a regular player in our lineup next season, but he's got to beat out solid veterans like Jake Fraley, Max Kepler, Jorge Soler. Obviously, Jung-Hoo Lee's going to be a starter. Cedric Mullins has played like he's warranting a contract extension. Don't sleep on Trevor Larnach or Elliot Ramos. And obviously there's Tommy Rogers as well, the new face of the franchise. So that's a lot of talent in the outfield. The interesting thing about Rodriguez is he can play first base, very similar to that of Max Kepler. And if Rodriguez gets a lot of playing time next year, I think he would be taking Kepler's spot. Kepler's in an interesting position because he's had a pretty good year this year, and he's on a team option for $8.3 million next year. And I think this season he has outplayed his contract and would be worth bringing back for that price tag. But if Kyler Rodriguez plays really well over the last month, then he could take Max Kepler's role full time, and we might not need to bring Kepler back. Rodriguez probably will not play every day, but he's going to play most days. His stats against righties and lefties are pretty even, which is a big advantage for him in my opinion, and I'm excited to see what he can do. We'll be player locking his debut, the fourth and final game of this series against the Colorado Rockies. Colorado's already taken 2 of 3, so this is a really important game for us, and we're going to need the offense to be alive. Of course, with Kyler Rodriguez debuting, he'll be DHing and batting 7th in the lineup. Rodriguez, the first-round pick of the Giants last year, 13th overall, hailing from the Dominican Republic. He's currently the 4th-ranked prospect in the system, although Fangraphs value has him 2nd, only behind Scott Rios. And of course, he is the 53rd ranked prospect in all of baseball, which again isn't too far behind the 2nd and 3rd guys in the system. So you could argue he has more upside than anybody in the farm system, of course, with the exception of Scott Rios and Tommy Rogers as well, once he comes around. Here's a look at the rest of the lineup, and pitching today for the Giants will be the veteran righty Michael Lorenzen, who could be pitching for his job. With Robbie Ray and Logan Webb coming back soon, Michael Lorenzen's spot in the rotation could be in jeopardy with the addition of Mason Miller at the trade deadline. So Rodriguez is going to be up here in the 2nd. The Giants currently trail 1-0, and we're going to show the entirety of his at-bats here in this first game. Take a look at how he's able to manage through the count as he looks at the first pitch for strike 1. I think he was always planning on taking that pitch, and now behind 0-1, he's going to look to protect. Following pitch on the way, and that one is fouled off. A nice curveball low and in from Chase Dollander, a first-round pick a couple years ago out of the University of Tennessee. Dollander has had a rocky rookie season with the Rockies, no pun intended, as Kyler fouls that one back 0-2. Dollander's done a good job of finding the strike zone early. Rodriguez, with his plate discipline, hasn't been able to take any pitches yet. 0-2 once again. That one is outside, a changeup. Kyler takes that one for ball 1. And Rodriguez is making things interesting for Dollander. Already the 5th pitch of the at-bat. And this one is low. That's a tough take. But ultimately, he'll let it go by. And if the umpire called that strike 3, I wouldn't really have batted an eye. The 2-2 on its way from Dollander. That one is hit well. Over the shortstop, Ezekiel Tovar. The left fielder completely misplays it. And Rodriguez is into 2nd with a double. The rookie in his first big league at bat gets his first big league hit. Welcome to the majors, Kyler Rodriguez, as he starts things off with a double. And this baseball is going to be saved going into the dugout. I find it ironic that the third base coach is giving this to Max Kepler of all people, because Kepler is the guy who Kyler is trying to take his job. Let's take a look at this one again. Gets a good pitch to hit, sends it in the opposite field, and good base running as well. Kyler is really fast. Him and Tommy Rogers' speed in this order long term is going to be really fun. Let's move bottom 5. Still 1-0. Dollander's throwing a gem, and the offense is laying another egg as Rodriguez swings late at the first pitch for strike 1. So he finds himself behind again early, 0-1. That one is inside a slider. Good take by Kyler Rodriguez. He hasn't swung anything out of the zone. So far, he's had really good command at the strike zone. Obviously, it's early. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. As this one's a chopper over to third. Play is made. Throw to first is in time. As the former Giant, Chris Bryant, gets the start at first today for the Rockies, and we move into the 7th. Cedric Mullins ties the game with a solo home run. Dollander, meanwhile, still in the game for the Rockies as this one is popped up. Kyler looking to make an impact on the first pitch of the at-bat, and he does not, as it'll be caught by the catcher, Drew Romo. Let's go into the bottom of the 10th inning. This is where things get interesting. Still tied at 1, and the rookie, with 1 out and a runner on second, has a chance to be the walk-off hero. What an end to Kyler Rodriguez's debut this would be. Well, that's not going to happen. He hits it well over to third, but the play is made. Unfortunately, the Rockies would drive in a run in the 11th off of a sacrifice fly by Chris Bryant and win the game 2-1. So our offense, which has been abysmal in this 4-game set against the Rockies, lays an egg to finish things off. We only scored the 1 run in the 2 extra innings where we started with a runner in scoring position both times. We didn't drive that runner in either opportunity. Our pitching was great in this series against Colorado. Today, no different. Michael Lorenzen was fantastic. Jordan Hicks even pitched really well, but it doesn't matter. We take the L. That's 3 in a row, bringing us to a massive series on the road in San Diego. We've lost 3 in a row, but things could be worse. The Padres have lost 7 in a row, so both teams got to get it together. I feel like the loser of this series could put themselves out of the playoff picture entirely. With our rough showing against the Rockies, we're now 2 games back of the final wild card spot, which is currently deadlocked with the Cardinals and the Diamondbacks. San Diego currently is 5 back with their long losing streak. So we're going to hop into this first game. I feel like we've really got to set the tone here with a win. Both teams trotting out some of their young arms, a pair of rookies, with Carson Whisenhunt going up against the talented young righty, Dylan Lesko. San Diego sits at 67 and 71. Again, losers of 7 in a row. They've got to get it together quickly before falling out of the playoff picture entirely. And of course, the same can be said for the Giants. Even though we have a better record, if we continue this losing streak, we could be in a lot of trouble. Here's a look at the lineup, and here's a look at the young righty, Dylan Lesko. I feel like the Padres have kind of rushed him up to the big leagues. He's only 21 years old. He hasn't been all that effective with an ERA at 6.28 and a whip at 1.74. So our offense is looking to capitalize. We didn't do so in the last game against Chase Dollander, who's also had a rough rookie season. But we'll see if we can get it done here against Lesko. Jun-Hoo Lee leads things off, gets a curveball right down the middle. And Lee is going to capitalize with an opposite field single. And the Giants open up the game with an early base runner. That's just the start they needed. We'll see if Jorge Soler can do any damage. Soler sits at 1-2. Hits a rocket past the glove of Ha-Seong Kim into left. 117 off the bat as Lee makes it over to third safely. And the Giants have runners on the corners and a huge opportunity for Blake Sabol, who is really good with runners on base, hitting up in the order today in the cleanup spot, but he strikes out on the fastball. 2 on, 2 out. Huge AB here for Jonathan India, the 2-2. This one is hit up the middle. Can Kim make the play? No, he flips it over to second. Had he gone for the out at first, I think there's a chance he would have thrown out the runner. But instead, he tries to get it to second. It doesn't work. It's an RBI for India, and it's 1-0. That'll bring up Kyler Rodriguez with a huge opportunity here in his second big league game, and he chases the low changeup. The one area of Rodriguez's game that I think he really needs to work on is the strikeouts, but he's 18 years old. He's got plenty of time. Let's look at the lefty Carson Whisenhunt making his 14th start of the year. I think these 13 games have proved to be not a fluke from Whisenhunt. He's legitimately a good player and certainly could be in this rotation going into next year and beyond. Ha-Seong Kim rips this one into left center field. Lee tracks after it quickly. It's a 1-out double for the Padres, and they get a runner in scoring position looking to do some early damage as they got Machado and Tatis due up. Machado wouldn't do anything, and Tatis grounds it over to second. J.P. Crawford makes the play. Throw to first is in time, and Whisenhunt gets through the first without too much damage outside of the double by Kim. Top 2. 2 away. Cedric Mullins launches this one into right field. No doubt about it. That one was a missile. And it's 2-0 Giants. The first time San Francisco has scored multiple runs in a game in like 5 games. And we're in the second inning. Mullins with his 15th home run of the year. That went 450 feet. An absolute bomb for Cedric Mullins. Jun-Hoo Lee draws a walk. He is aboard for a second time today. That'll bring up J.P. Crawford, who's behind 1-2. And he goes down looking on a curveball pretty much right down the middle. What was he waiting for? Not a bad inning, though. Cedric Mullins adds to the lead for San Francisco as we go bottom two. Xander Bogaerts gets the run right back. Crushes it into left. And that one is gone. It's now 2-1. Bogaerts, the veteran infielder, with his 21st home run of the year. And that one, like the homer by Mullins, a no-doubter going 423 feet. Whisenhunt looking to respond as he strikes out the young catcher Luis Campusano. Now against Sam Haggerty, the 1-1. This one is hit well into center. It's going to be a tough play. Lee charging after it at the track. And he makes the grab. Both teams with a pair of homers here in the second as San Francisco leads it 2-1. And we move into the third. Full count here for Jorge Soler. Ooh, what a pitch by Dylan Lesko. And those are the flashes that Lesko brings to the table. He's got nasty movement on his off speeds. Jonathan India draws a walk. So that'll give a runner here to Kyler Rodriguez, who's behind 1-2. And again, chasing the low changeup. Rodriguez has gotten fooled by a couple off-speed pitches today. And with that, Lesko gets through the inning as it remains 2-1. Into the bottom of the third, top of the order up for San Diego. The speedster, Garrett Hampson, looks at that one. That pitch was in the strike zone. Would have been called strike 3, but instead he gets another opportunity to swing the bat, and he ends up with a base hit. Angel Hernandez behind the plate completely screws the Giants over. Now San Diego gets another runner for Ha-Seong Kim. That one is over the glove of Crawford for a base knock. Kim's second hit of the game. And now San Diego's starting to get something going. They've got 2 on, 1 away from Machado, who launches it into left. Fraley can only watch it fly. And the Padres will add 3 to the board as they lead it 4-2. Manny Machado with his 32nd home run of the year. Despite San Diego's struggles, nobody has been as good at the plate since the All-Star break than Manny Machado, coming off winning the Player of the Month in August. As Fernando Tatis Jr. singles into center field, the hits are going to keep on coming. Pause, no ditty, for San Diego. That'll bring up Xander Bogaerts, who homered in his last at-bat. He strikes out. Whisenhunt needed that one badly, as he is really starting to struggle here. That'll bring up the young outfielder Jackson Merrill. He's behind 1-2, and he strikes out as well. The inside fastball. Good end of the inning for Whisenhunt in what otherwise was a disastrous frame, with the home run by Machado to put San Diego ahead 4-2, and we move into the top of the fourth. With 1 away, Thairo Estrada is up for the Giants. He's behind 1-2. And Estrada rips that one up the middle. That'll go for a hit. And so San Francisco is a man aboard here with 1 away. Cedric Mullins homered in his last at-bat, looking to do some more damage here for the Giants. 3-1 pitch, and Mullins launches another one! This time into center! What a start to this game for Cedric Mullins. His second home run of the night. We're tied at 4. Mullins now with 16 home runs this year, 7 of which have come with the Giants since the trade deadline. When we traded for Mullins, we were hoping that he would feel re-energized and perform a lot better than he did in the first half of the season with Baltimore, and that has absolutely been the case. Cedric Mullins has been fantastic since the trade, and when we got him, I kind of viewed him as a rental, but if he keeps playing this well, we're going to at least try to give him a contract extension, but his price tag has gone up quite a bit. J.P. Crawford goes down looking on the fastball. Good inning, though. The 2-run homer by Mullins ties it at 4 as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Plenty of offense from both sides so far as Luis Campusano sends that one up the middle for a hit. I would imagine both pitchers have really short leashes. Carson Whisenhunt's day could be done any moment as he strikes out Sam Haggerty, who goes down looking. If nothing else, we've seen plenty of punch-outs from Whisenhunt, his 5th of the game. Cronenworth grounds it to short. This could be 2. Estrada misses the throw to Crawford. Throw to first is not in time. That should have been a double play, but instead, both runners are safe. It's an E6 on Estrada, just his second error of the entire season. And with that, Carson Whisenhunt's going to be taken out of the game. It sucks for him because we should be out of the inning, but given that there's more base runners on, I don't know if I can say we trust Whisenhunt to get out of this jam with 2 aboard, being that he couldn't do it in the last inning. We can't treat this like a regular season May game. We have to treat this like we're fighting for our playoff lives. So Whisenhunt's going to be yanked. He'll be replaced by the veteran righty Scott Barlow. 2.82 ERA on the year for Barlow, who's been pretty solid since the trade at the deadline with the Mets. Hampson singles it into right. Run looks to score. The throw from Mullins is offline, and the Padres are back ahead. It's now 5-4. If not for the double play, this inning should be over, but here we are. Ha-Seong Kim goes down looking on the fastball. Nice pitch by Barlow. That'll bring back up Manny Machado, who homered in his last at-bat. 1-2. Swing and a miss on the slider. Big pitch by Barlow. San Diego does add one, though. They lead at 5-4, and we move into the fifth. The veteran righty Glenn Otto will come out of the bullpen for the Padres, replacing Lesko. 5.42 ERA on the year. With 2 away, he'll face off against Jonathan India. Swings at a pitch he certainly should not have. Jammed inside with the circle change as the play is made at first by Jake Cronenworth. 1-2-3 inning for Otto, and we go to the bottom of the fifth with Tristan Beck coming into the game. With Wisenhunt's struggles, I wanted to get a couple innings out of Beck today, but I didn't want to put him in with the 2 runners on base because I trusted Barlow more to get us out of the jam. With nobody on now, Beck can do his stuff as he forces a ground out here from Tatis. Nice play at the hot corner by Jonathan India with the backhanded throw. Bogarts now hits this one well into right. Mullins will not make the play, and it bounces off the wall. Bogarts looks to make it to second safely. He's in there with a double, and the Padres get a runner in scoring position as they look to add to the lead. Jackson Merrill, the 3-2, he draws a walk, and the base runners are going to keep pouring on for San Diego as they get 2 more aboard for Luis Campusano. 2-2. Campusano bloops it into center. This ball should drop, and it will. Run will score. The other run looks to make it to third. He is just barely safe. An RBI single for Luis Campusano. It's now 6-4, still with runners on the corners and just 1 out. I guess Tristan Beck's not going to throw multiple innings. He has not been very good today. Sam Haggerty grounds it up the middle. This could be 2. Crawford to Estrada, over to Rodriguez, and this time the Giants actually get out of the inning. San Diego does score another run, though. They've scored in every inning since the first, as it's 6-4. Here's Kyler Rodriguez. This one is down the line and fair. It'll roll into the corner and left, and the rookie Rodriguez gets his second career base hit, and like his first, it's an opposite field double. Again, I love seeing Kyler Rodriguez being able to slap the ball to all fields. For an 18-year-old, that's quite impressive. He didn't hit that ball the hardest, but he put it in the right spot, and the Giants have one of their faster base runners aboard in scoring position. That'll bring up Estrada, who hits it up the middle. Kim will look to make the play, and he does. Rodriguez does advance over to third, though, and a huge opportunity for guess who? Cedric Mullins, who has homered twice in this game already in his first 2 at-bats. Another home run here would be pretty nice. We'll see if he can do it, look to tie the game, or if nothing else, at least drive in the runner from third. Mullins sits behind 1-2. Pitch on its way from Otto. Got him on the inside slider. Mullins was looking to be aggressive, and it backfires. As San Diego gets out of another inning, it remains 6-4, and we go into the bottom of the 6th. Tristan Beck will stay in the game, but with a really short leash. And with that, the leash has been snapped. He needed to allow 1 base runner to be yanked, and sure enough, Jake Cronenworth leads things off with a double. Not a great showing here from Tristan Beck. The Giants wanted to get multiple solid innings out of them. Unfortunately, that will not be the case, and they're now going to have to go to their regular middle relievers, and that starts with the lefty Taylor Rogers. 1.57 ERA on the year for Rogers. He has been tremendous, the lowest ERA of any player in the bullpen. Kim hits that one over the glove of Crawford for a single into right. The runner looks to score. The throw from Mullins is a good one, but not in time, and it's now 7-4 in favor of San Diego. Ha-Seong Kim with his 3rd hit of the game. Manny Machado launches this one into left. Fraley, again, can only watch it fly. 2-run blast from Machado. It's now 9-4. The Padres are starting to pour it on. Machado with his 33rd home run of the year, his 2nd of the night. And San Diego with 5 unanswered runs. They've still scored in every inning since the first. And unfortunately for Rogers, that wasn't even a bad pitch. It was a sinker on the inside corner at the strike zone. Machado just happened to absolutely crush it. Xander Bogaerts checks his swing. That'll wrap up the 6th. Another big inning for San Diego. They get 3. headlined by Manny Machado's second home run of the game, and it's 9-4. Giants got to start a rally to look to avoid a 4-game losing streak as we move into the 7th inning. Glenn Otto is going to stay in the game here for San Diego. He's been really good over the last 2 innings. They feel like they can get another one out of him. Top of the order up for San Francisco. That starts with Jung-Hoo Lee. Death, taxes, and opposite field base hits for Jung-Hoo Lee. His second of the game. You got to start somewhere. Just stack some base runners. So Lee starts this one off with a hit. Now J.P. Crawford's up 0 for 3 today. Looking to rebound as he nearly rips Otto's head off. That'll go for a single into center. Okay, this is a good start to the inning. 2 on, nobody out. Middle of the order has to capitalize, though, and that starts with Jorge Soler, who is ahead in the count here, 3-1. And Soler hits this one high and deep and a right. Tatis at the track, at the wall. This ball is gone! 3-run homer for Jorge Soler, and the Giants are back in the ballgame. Jorge's 36th home run of the year. That one barely scraped over the fence, 360 feet. But hey, all home runs were created equal, right? As long as it goes over the fence, it counts. And with that, the lead is cut down to 2 as it's now 9-7. San Diego will go back to the bullpen as the big righty Enyel De Los Santos will come into the game. 2.93 ERA on the year for him. He'll start things off by facing off against the catcher Blake Sabol, hitting up in the order today, as we mentioned earlier. He's 0 for 3 so far. But Sabol gets a piece of this one. If it's fair, it's gone. And it is! An Oppo Taco solo shot for Blake Sabol, his 15th of the year. The Giants go back-to-back, and the lead is within 1, as it's now 9-8. And there's still nobody out, by the way. What a start to the inning here for San Francisco with a 3-run shot by Soler and a solo homer for Blake Sabol. Jonathan India up the middle base hit. So San Francisco starts the inning with 5 consecutive base runners, and this is coming off a pair of innings where their offense was ice cold. India's fired up, and that'll bring up Kyler Rodriguez. He draws a walk. There's another base runner. That's a tough pitch to lay off. I know Kyler really wanted to swing the bat there, but he takes that one for ball 4. That'll bring up Lamont Wade off the bench into the gap. That's going to drop. India rounds third. This game is tied. Rodriguez rounds third. He's safe. The Giants take the lead 10-9 with an RBI double off the bench by Lamont Wade. And there's still nobody out. What is happening? The Giants have scored 6 runs here in the 7th inning so far. Luis Patino now out of the bullpen. A third different pitcher in this inning for San Diego. He'll face off against Thairo Estrada. He lines this ball into left. At the track, at the wall. Are you kidding me? Thairo Estrada goes deep. His 11th of the year. And the Giants have scored 8 runs here in the 7th inning before recording a single out. And with that, it is now 12-9. I do not believe what I'm watching. This is incredible. The offense has gone on an unheard of rally after playing horribly over the last week. Here's Mullins now into right center. At the track, at the wall, it's caught. And finally, there's an out. It took the entire length of the order, and it was Mullins who's been the best player on offense today so far for the Giants with the 2 homers. Full count for Jung-Hoo Lee. He draws a walk and will reach base for a second time in the inning. That'll bring up J.P. Crawford now. He pops this one up over to short, and it seems like Luis Patino might be the guy to get San Diego through the inning once and for all, as that one is caught by Ha-Seong Kim. That'll bring up Jorge Soler, who really started the rally with the 3-run homer moments ago, and he lines this one into right. That goes for a hit. Lee looks to make it over to third. He slides safely. San Francisco's not satisfied. They want to add to this lead. Runners on the corners now for Blake Sabol, who also homered in this inning. And we'll see if he can add to the lead for the Giants as he sits behind 1-2. And Sabol again into the opposite field. That one's going to drop, and it's now 13-9 with the Giants now having scored 9 runs in this inning. I don't think I've ever scored more runs in an inning in my life. This is incredible. Kyle Hendricks is now going to come out of the bullpen. The 4th separate pitcher of the inning for San Diego. He'll face off against Jonathan India. 2 on, 2 out, 2-2 pitch. And India hits this one high and deep into left at the track near the wall. It is caught. And finally, the top of the 7th inning comes to a close. The Giants went into the inning with no momentum. We were down 9-4. And something struck a nerve with this team. We've scored less than 9 runs through the 5 games we've gone through in this episode. And we just scored 9 runs in 1 inning. Headlined by 3 home runs from Jorge Soler, Blake Sabol, and Thairo Estrada. As we go to the bottom of the 7th, all of a sudden with a 4-run lead, as Tyler Rogers will come out of the bullpen to replace his twin brother Taylor. Tyler certainly has not been as good as his twin, as Jackson Merrill hits it up the middle for a hit. You'd think scoring 9 runs in an inning is enough to feel comfortable, but considering how San Diego's offense has played today, we do not feel comfortable in the slightest. Again, they've scored in every inning since the first until now. Tyler Rogers gets Cronenworth to go down looking. That's a huge strikeout. Even if the Padres just got 1 or 2 in that inning, they could have got some momentum back. But the fact that they got nothing, I feel like is a huge deal. And the Giants now can finally feel like they're in a little control as we move into the top of the 8th. Kyler Rodriguez has reached base in each of his last 2 at-bats. Won't do so here as he pops this one into left, and that one is caught. Still another productive day by Kyler Rodriguez. He's even played good defense as well at first. Overall, a good start for Kyler through his first 2 games. Here's Thairo Estrada, homered in the last inning. Flies out to right. It's a 1-2-3 inning for the Giants, which is kind of wild considering we just scored 9. And now all of a sudden, Kyle Hendricks is just mowing through the order like it's nothing. Bottom 8, Jose Leclerc is into the game for San Francisco. Of course, it has been a disappointing season for Leclerc, who signed a fancy 3-year extension in the offseason and obviously has not lived up to it. With 1 away, he faces off against Ha-Seong Kim, his 4th hit of the game. This one will make its way over the fence, and it's 13-10. Both teams now in the double digits, which again is incredible with how poorly both offenses have played as of recent. I don't know what the over-under in this game was, but over-bettors, congratulations. You probably made yourself some money. Machado looking for his 3rd home run of the game. He's a couple inches shy. It goes off the top of the wall. He'll make it to second with a double. So Leclerc faces off against 3 batters. One of them homers. Another one nearly goes yard. And so because of that, he'll be yanked for the lefty A.J. Minter, who looks to get San Francisco out of the inning unharmed. He'll face off against Bogaerts with 2 away, down 1-2. Swing and a miss on the circle change. And San Francisco's going to go into the top of the 9th up by 3. We'll see if they can hang on and win what has been the game of the year up to this point. So as we travel into the 9th, Kyle Hendricks is still in the game. He's been really good so far. Hasn't let up a base runner yet. Full count for Crawford. He goes down on the circle change. Kyle Hendricks deserves so much credit because he came in the 7th inning where our offense was just dominating, and then he retires 7 batters in a row. Bottom 9, Camilo Doval in for his 34th save of the year. Doval's been inconsistent throughout the season, but over the summer, he's played really well. The ERA now below 3 at 2.95. Against Merrill, checks his swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. The third base umpire calls him out. Luis Campusano now behind 1-2, and he chases the slider. A great pitch by Doval. With a save tonight, he would put himself 5th in the National League in that category, and he'll be facing off against Sam Haggerty, who has the count even at 2-2. Doval's going to look to get him with the inside slider, and he does! Swing and a miss, and that'll do it. Camilo Doval strikes out the side, and the Giants snap their losing streak, winning this game 13-10. What in the world did I just watch? That was certainly one of the games of all time. Going into the 7th inning, we trailed 9-4, and something snapped. Our offense got the first 8 runners on base, scoring 9 runs, facing off against 4 different pitchers. And with how bad our offense has been, give them so much credit. They were fantastic today. 6 guys with multi-hit games. Jung-Hoo Lee, who reached base 4 times, scoring 3 times. Jorge Soler, 3 hits, including a big 3-run homer. Sabol had 2 hits. Estrada with 2 hits. Mullins went deep twice. And then in terms of the pitching, Carson Wisenhunt wasn't great, The bullpen was a mixed bag. 10 runs and 16 hits should be enough to win. San Diego hit the ball at an unbelievably high level today. Ha-Seong Kim had 4 hits. Machado went deep twice, drove in 5 runs. But their pitching completely blew it. And it's weird because after the 4th inning, our offense really was not that good. Between the 5th and the 9th innings, we really only had 1 inning where we did anything. I think the 7th inning was the only inning in that stretch where we even recorded a base runner. And we happened to record like 12. So with that, we're 2 games back of the wild card spot now. The Padres, meanwhile, have now lost 8 in a row with a lot of damage control to do. And we'll see if they can do that over these next 2 games in this series. We're also going to make our way through the Texas series as well. The Rangers currently, I think, the #1 wild card in the American League. So obviously that's going to be a tough matchup for us against former Giants manager Bruce Bochy. So during the simulation, we get the news that Robbie Ray is officially healthy. He'll likely pitch in that last game against Texas, and he'll be taking over for Carson Whisenhunt in the rotation. Carson Whisenhunt's done a really good job through injury, but I just trust these veterans more. I still want Whisenhunt to be getting starting reps, and I trust Keaton Winn in the bullpen more than him. So he's going to go down to the minor leagues, pitching AAA for the rest of the year, while Keaton Winn will be one of our long relievers. We ended up losing the last 2 games against San Diego. So much for the possible momentum boost we could have gotten with the first game. But Kyler Rodriguez is playing well. He's gotten hits in all 4 games so far. So that's cool. We're now 3 games back, though, of that last wild card spot with only 21 games left. We've got a pivotal series here against the Rangers. Some good pitchers on the mound. We're going to face off against Corbin Burnes, Jacob deGrom, and John Gray. After losing the first game, it seems like we're finally having a game where the pitching and hitting are both doing well in unison. Michael Lorenzen pitching a shutout here against the Rangers. As Corey Seager looks at that pitch, it was clear as day in the strike zone, but ultimately called a ball. Count is now full for Seager. Lorenzen wants to make sure this pitch is a strike, so unfortunately he places a fastball right down the middle, and the shutout is no more. A solo shot for the 2-time World Series MVP Corey Seager, his 30th of the year. It's now 7-1. And ultimately, the Giants will pull Lorenzen from here. Still a great game for Michael Lorenzen, going 8 1/3, only letting up the 1 run. Scott Barlow would come in, and he would allow a 3-run homer to Josh Young. And then Camilo Duvall would come in and finish the game off, recording the save. So we win this one 7-4. Again, it's nice having the offense and the pitching both perform well in the same game. Kyler Rodriguez, by the way, had 3 hits in this one, so that's cool. And we kind of rocked Jacob deGrom. We do lose the last one, though, 4-1. So overall, the team did not play very well today. In the 3 series we had in this episode, we lost all 3. I think our record for the day was 3-7. So that's not good. We're back down to 500 for the first time since the first game of the year. And we're now 4 back of the final wild card spot, which currently belongs to Arizona. So now, just like that, we've got 18 games left. We've got 6 series, all of which are against really good teams. Seattle, Cincinnati, the Diamondbacks, Cincinnati again, San Diego, and the Dodgers. The one positive, though, is 4 of these 6 series are at home. So at least we can say that's the case. Kyler Rodriguez has played in 7 big league games so far. He's gotten a hit in all 7. So he has been really productive so far, which has been awesome to see. Before we wrap up today's episode, let's meet the international free agency class. I mentioned this at the beginning today. So we're going to go through some of the notable prospects and their current point rating. But as you guys know, the wheel can change these ratings in the offseason, which, for those who need an explanation on how that works, I recommend you check out the episode last year where I explained the whole process of international free agency, because I'm not going to explain it again since I've already done it. Today we're only going to be going over prospects. Let's start with some of the notable pitching prospects. There's only one 5-point player amongst this group, and that's Mexican lefty Alejandro Sanchez, who is easily one of my favorite players in this international class. Alejandro Sanchez is the prototypical Chad innings eater. He doesn't throw super hard. He's not going to throw strikeouts, but he's got great command at the strike zone, and he goes deep into games. He can be a team's version of Logan Webb. In terms of the 4-point pitchers, I think Michael Bleal is the name to watch, hailing from the Netherlands. He's got nasty movement and somebody who I think has a lot of upside, maybe a higher ceiling than that of Sanchez. As we look down the board a little bit, I'm intrigued by the Japanese two-way player Yoshin Lobumoyo, but I think the real sleeper here is Cecil Alvarez from the Dominican Republic. He's only a one-point player, but I think he's actually really intriguing. 6'7", 235. He is a large human being, and he throws gas, but he's got a long ways to go in his development. Let's move over to the infielders, which is easily the most talented group in this year's class, and obviously we are headlined by our first blue-chip player of the series, Munetaka Murakami, the slugging third baseman from Japan. This dude hits nukes. His contract is expected to be at least $300 million, with many big market teams such as the Dodgers, the Mets, the Yankees, and the San Francisco Giants rumored to be interested in him. The Giants have tried to sign big-time offensive free agents over the last couple of years, but have struck out on guys like Aaron Judge, Carlos Correa, and Shohei Ohtani. Could Murakami be that guy? And if we do pass on him, no worries, because we've got another Japanese blue-chip player coming in next year with starting pitcher Roki Sasaki, who's probably going to sign for even more money than Murakami, maybe higher than $400 million. These two Japanese superstars are going to take over baseball, and here with Murakami, I think he's going to be an MVP candidate wherever he signs right away. He has a chance to propel a team to World Series contention, and if that's us, then I think he's going to be one of the best hitters in the National League immediately. For the teams who miss out on Murakami, there are some really good elite prospects in here. Obviously, these guys are not going to be as good immediately as Murakami, but there's some really high upside players, including Dominican catcher Everest Acuna. This is somebody who I think could be one of the best offensive catchers in baseball. He's a switch hitter, really good physical tools. Emmanuel Del Valle, the first baseman hailing from Spain, is easily the second best offensive prospect in this class behind Murakami. This guy can swing the bat like nobody's business. And then Italian shortstop Oscar Piscopo, another switch hitter. This is a five-tool player who has worldly upside, and I think he could be one of the best shortstops in the game in due time. In terms of gems down the board, Tetsuji Suganuma, the Japanese shortstop, I think is a really intriguing guy here for only 2 points. 6'4", 203 pounds. He's fast, athletic, and hits for good contact. Let's move over to the outfield now. Not a lot of guys here in terms of quantity, but I think the quality of players is pretty good. And that starts with our 5-point prospect being Cuban center fielder Francisco Mirabalo. He's a really talented switch hitter who I think will project well offensively, but his range and defense in center field I think is what teams are really going to like. And I do think the offense will come along, and if it does, he could be a perennial all-star. In terms of the 4-point prospects, we've got a couple of French corner outfielders. Antoine Billiancourt is a guy who I think could be your prototypical leadoff hitter if he develops great contact, great speed, knows how to get on base. And then somebody who would hit maybe towards the middle of the order is the big slugger Rafael Abel. This guy has really good power, really good arm strength, but certainly not quite the contact hitter as his French counterpart. Domingos Aviario from the Dominican Republic, I think, is the other guy to look out for as a 4-point player. He actually hails from Mozambique in Africa, but he has moved over to the Dominican Republic at a young age where he has really developed as a baseball player, really good offense. The rest of his game isn't really there. He might be more of the DH type, but I think this kid could be a slugger at the plate. So there you go. That's the international free agency class. Do you guys think the Giants should use well over half of their remaining international free agent points on Munetaka Murakami, or should we be patient? Should we focus on adding more depth to the farm system? Maybe waiting for a guy like Roki Sasaki next year? Let me know. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.